This is the Vision 79 podcast, where my friend Sander and myself, Mason, discuss recent developments in our business and personal growth. The name Vision 79 comes from our racing numbers. Sanders is 40, mine is 39, and we have similar ambition to progress in our business and personal growth. Many successful people have started small, just like us, but very few of them have documented their early years. They often say they wish they had, and given we believe in learning lessons from others, we intend to be the first to document our journey from start to finish. This is simply a documentary of our lives, and as such, we do not monetize these videos, so enjoy the ad-free content and the incredibly loud music from my apartment complex. Each episode is broken down into 3 segments, each covering our progress over the past week. We start by discussing our life updates, then our business updates, and lastly, we share any lessons we've learned over the past week. We have timestamps in the description to navigate these sections easily. Today is December 2nd, 2025, and we're recording episode 88. So, what is your life update this week?
This week, Sammy came back from Nicaragua.
Welcome back, Sammy.
Welcome back, Sammy.
Did she have fun?
Yeah, they had a good time. Did a bunch of cool stuff. There's a volcano, I forgot the name of it. She went to, she did like sledding down the volcano.
Cool.
Did a bunch of hiking, motorcycle trip. She rented a bike, so she put it on like ferries and stuff and just,
Sweet, dude.
yeah, looked really cool. So she came back from Nicaragua, and then I had Thanksgiving with Alex and took the opportunity to ask him about the BMW.
Cool.
So kind of double whammy there.
How'd that go?
Oh, it was good. He's willing to help me out with the Beamer.
Cool.
So
Cool.
I just have to get it to Audubon.
Does it drive?
Should, for the most part.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to do the fuel pump before I get it there or not.
When was the last time you started it?
About a month ago, and it was real rough.
It started rough?
It was everything rough.
Everything
It
rough?
was bad.
Okay, got it.
So, probably will have to do a fuel pump
Gotcha.
unless that's probably pretty much my only option, unless I can get under it and take a look at that pressure regulator.
Mm.
Potentially the vacuum lines popped off or broken.
Gotcha.
That could be the only thing. I don't think it's gonna be spark related. I'm pretty sure it's fuel related, fuel delivery. Just because it just feels like a cough, like in that sense. Like it feels like a fuel cough.
Gotcha.
More than a cough. It's like
Super lame. Feels
yeah,
like
it's like
point.
tuberculosis, but I mean,
Black lung. Yeah.
yeah, it's rough.
Hmm.
But those are pretty much my 2 life things. Other than that, it was pretty much all business.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that one's good though.
Good. That's
Yeah,
glad to
plus
hear. Are you driving that up north for stuff this year, or are you flying?
no, I'm gonna fly.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did you fly last year?
Yeah, I've flown every year for Christmas.
Gotcha.
The only time I've driven is for summer, but I haven't
Got it.
driven up for summer in
Since college.
like 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you drove the BMW like a year or 2 ago, but
No.
gotcha.
No.
Well, it's good that Alex is going to help you with the BMW. That'll be a good like cash bump.
Yeah.
You don't have, if you do have to buy new parts, you don't have to worry about like paying for them now and then recouping the cost when you sell the BMW. Maybe Autobahn can like front that money and then take
I have all the parts outside of the fuel pump. The fuel pump's not too bad. Like the like 150 that I invest in a fuel pump will, pay for itself.
Right.
The only cost that would be like upfront potentially would be like if I select to do the ABS module rebuild.
Under the seat.
Yeah. No. The ABS module rebuild under the hood for the ABS. The light
Oh.
control module I already own.
Oh, okay. Got it. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Because that's
You don't know.
in the ABS light and the traction control.
Right. But okay. So you're not sure if you replace the thing under the seat, you might have to go under the hood.
Oh, I know I have to go under the hood for other stuff.
No, I mean like for the ABS.
For the ABS, it's all under the hood. The light control module is for the lights.
But it's causing the ABS light.
No. That's
Oh,
for headlights, turn signals.
okay, got it. So
Yeah.
the thing under the seat is causing other light issues. The ABS light is on because of the ABS module.
Yeah, because the actual pump unit is down.
Got it.
So that needs to be that needs to be
You know,
built.
sell it to a racer, like someone who likes driving. They don't want ABS or anything like that anyways. They don't want any of the assists.
I just want it. I want it clean and I want it gone.
Yeah, I understand.
So we'll figure it. I'll talk with the Autobahn.
Do any of the guys there have interest in buying it?
No, I mean Alex has the Yukon. He's got the 911. He's got his own E39. He's
Gotcha.
got an E46, and then Tom has his Mercedes wagon, and then his wife has a Lexus SUV. Thank God someone has a Japanese car in the family.
Hey, you gotta have one reliable one.
I know. But like it's already a bunch of cars. I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
a project.
You know what my mom told me this week? She told me, Did you ever work on the Eclipse, my brother's Eclipse with me?
I helped or sort of like
Dash cam?
looked over your dad's shoulder while he was doing with AC one time.
Things are
Oh,
fast.
I think I did the dash cam with you.
I think we might.
Yeah, we screwed around with that.
Yeah, it was the rear view mirror.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse. And the EPA regulations that year mandated that cars make some part of the car biodegradable, and
Yep.
Mitsubishi chose the wiring harness. And so
There are some manufacturers that are still doing that or have started
that's
doing that.
the dumbest shit, dude.
Yeah, my dad was telling me about like the Nissan Leaf.
Oh my god. Dude,
Yeah.
I watched a whole video on the Leaf a few weeks ago because Grace's dad might be giving her his EV when he comes
Oh,
down here.
yeah.
Fucking nightmare, dude. Do you know the story behind the Leaf?
I mean, I know they're rough.
So Toyota came out with the Prius and was
Yeah.
cleaning up the EV hybrid market, right? Tesla came out with their Model S, which was unobtainium for people like making less than six figures. But when Tesla started coming out with the Model 3, which was attainable, Nissan had to catch up. And so they cut as many corners as possible to get the Leaf to market as fast as possible, right? Every Nissan Leaf battery, when the battery goes, is like a $30,000 repair that Nissan will not service. So there are entire auto shops dedicated only to replacing Nissan Leaf batteries. And that's their whole business. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really poorly made car. Even the new ones, they have not fixed this issue. Like there's so many manufacturing errors with the Leaf. Does your dad have one?
No, his work has one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and um I think he said some like bunnies or other creatures ate the wiring harness,
That's
but the insulation because
right.
it's made out of soy, is what he said. And so
Plant?
they like the soy, the sweetness, yeah.
Oh my God.
And so they'll eat the insulation.
Maybe Nissan's hoping that your problems will be all rat related and not the battery. But yeah, what a fucking
Wild.
nightmare, dude. Yeah. So my brother, his Eclipse, right? He's doing flight training in Oklahoma. He actually just passed his first check ride.
Nice, congratulations.
Congratulations. That's the first of 3 check rides in undergraduate pilot training, UPT. So he crushed it. He's done solo flights, he's done night flights, he's really crushing it. It's in the I think it's called a T-36 trainer jet.
Mm,
It's like a single seater, single engine turbofan jet.
okay.
Super cool plane, and he's having a lot of fun. His girlfriend is an officer in the Air Force as well. Um, she's living 7 hours away, and
Okay.
so she owns, the Mazda that white car, the crossover SUV
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Does that have a UK plate on it? Weird, dude. On the front?
Yeah, I can already
Weird.
see it, but something like
She owns one of those. I can't remember what it's called. Who fucking cares? Mazda crossover, right? She will drive her Mazda 3.5 hours. He'll drive his Eclipse 3.5 hours. They meet in the middle, and then they'll go back to either of their places in the other person's car,
Mm.
right? So they're kind of like splitting the distance, and then they get to spend an extra 3.5 hours together on the drive back to
Yeah.
whoever's place, right? She just hit a deer,
Oh shit.
and the car is in the shop. So she's in a rental, stacking miles on the rental, which isn't as scary as my brother driving his Eclipse 3.5 hours. I thought it was every week. It's not every week. My mom said it's as often as they can on 3-day weekends. So it's like maybe once a month. But even still, that's a lot of miles on that beat to shit Eclipse. I don't know if he has changed, but when I was last living with him, he was constantly getting reamed out by my dad because Carter would never check the oil or the tire depth like
Oh,
the
yeah.
tread wear or his coolant or his wiper fluid or anything. And anytime there was an issue, when he would come home from college for like Christmas, he would just ask my dad to do a once over. And my dad would be like, "You're low on everything. How long has your oil light been on? Like, what's the deal with this?" And like, you know, the car used to be owned in a northern state, so it's got rust all underneath it. So like
Yeah.
the undercarriage is a mess. Everything my dad touches turns to gold, as is with every car that he works on. But like, there's always something new popping up. And every time he looks at it, he's like, "Carter, you need to be checking these things." And my brother just has never done it historically.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's starting to do it now, but like he's at high risk of not making it one of these trips. And if you my mom pointed out, she was like, if he misses a flight, I don't think that's cool in Air Force Academy. Like I think if you miss some flight, you're pretty fucked. Uh,
Yeah.
so when he comes home for Christmas, I'm gonna show him the Lexus. I think he's making with all the stipends and stuff, because they help subsidize your housing and your food.
Yeah.
With all that, he's probably making similar money to me. So I'm gonna show him the Lexus
Oh,
when he
wow.
comes to visit, and I'm gonna be like, dude, you can get a Camry for even less than this. We should just go buy one of those, take the car payment, and then like sell the Eclipse while it's still running, while it's worth something.
Yeah.
And like get out of that car because you need
Yeah,
your
get
life.
a 3-year warranty, let the dealer deal with everything.
Mhm.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, 100%. I have one more life update. I thought of it, but on my way here, there was a like a purple blue GT3,
Mhm.
new one,
Cool.
relatively new within the last few years. And it was completely tearing up traffic on the highway.
Nice.
And it's like you see those cars occasionally, but like very rarely have I actually seen someone like getting it.
Yeah.
And there's usually like going the speed limit or 5 over,
Yeah.
and like someone in their like 50s or 60s.
Yep.
And this guy was younger, at least I didn't, get that good of a look, but
Right.
younger, just like tearing up traffic,
Yeah.
which was like, it was cool. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like those cars are meant to be driven, and a lot of people like don't use them for
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be used for,
That
or
makes
intended to be used for, I guess.
that makes me sad. I'm more sad to see a sports car not driven how the way it's meant to than one that's gotten in an accident. I'd rather see a sports car get in a crash, like the F40 that was completely totaled on the test drive. I'd rather
Uh,
see that happen than like completely babied and like never driven above third gear, you know? Um,
yeah, it was cool to see.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
awesome.
fun. But that's about all I got for life. What do you have for life for us this week?
So it was Thanksgiving this week.
Okay.
My family usually does stuff, but I think my aunt moved to Georgia. Um, she has a second house out there because her grandkids live out there. So we didn't do Thanksgiving as a family this year. Instead, I went to Grace's family Thanksgiving. I went to hers last year, but last year was a little different. Usually they do it on this coast. Last year they did it on the west coast of Florida. So there was like a different group of family, I guess. I don't know. It was fine last year, non-problematic,
Mm,
not notable. And this year was largely the same way. It's like her family is just super easygoing. No one talked about politics. No one was drunk, which is interesting because I'm accustomed to my family Thanksgivings being like people pregame before Thanksgiving. So like my cousin would show up having just come off the heels of her husband's family's Thanksgiving, and like they do not live their life in the way that she prefers. So she would always get like real she didn't get along with his mom, I think. She would always get real wound up at that Thanksgiving. Show up to ours already like drunk and complaining about the previous one.
mhm.
And then I don't know, politics would always come up. Like just it's the standard like shit show Thanksgiving, right? My girlfriends in high school would know what they were in for, and so I would invite them to my family's Thanksgiving, and they would show up like already drunk because it's the only way that you could get through it.
Yeah,
Which my mom hated, and so like it was always just a mess. Um, but Grace's Thanksgiving was very easygoing.
nice.
Everyone gets along. There was like one tiny moment where like politics almost came up, and then her uncle like very deftly changed the conversation, and it wasn't an issue at all. Um, Everyone was super agreeable, and so like Grace told me afterwards, she was like, "Yeah, I let my family know that if you're like quiet or like just sitting there staring into space and not contributing, it's not that you don't like them or aren't having fun. It's just that you're not used to being in this type of environment that's non-problematic at Thanksgiving." And then she also noted we had it in their community center. So they live in like a really nice neighborhood that has like a community center with a pool and stuff. And so they reserved the community center to have the big Thanksgiving there. And the first thing I did when I got there is like I said hello to everyone, and then I went exploring and I explored the whole building. I saw the gym, I saw the pool room, whatever, right? And then afterward, Grace was like, "Yeah, we got there and you immediately like fucked off, like walking around." and people didn't know what you were doing. And so I just told them that you were looking for escape routes in case you had to bail out. And it's not a personal thing. It's just that you're used to like more chaotic events.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I had a good time. It was fun. I get along with a lot of her family. So it was good. And
Nice.
her soon to be brother-in-law, Ralph, was there. And so I was telling him about your endeavors with Meta. And he was agreeing with a lot of the positions that I was telling him the whole story, and I was like, here's what Sander thinks versus what the community has been telling him, and then here's my opinion on it. And he was like, I think that you and Sander are on the right path with everything from what I've seen, but he doesn't do ads like nearly to the same degree as you do. So it's
Yeah.
closer to my advice.
I also
Probably.
I think I had somewhat of a breakthrough this week too in
That's good.
understanding what's going on and why.
Sweet. I look forward
Mhm.
to hearing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so that was fun. We went Black Friday shopping the next day.
Nice.
I had never really been Black Friday shopping before I met Grace, but Anna and Ralph always close down the shoe stores like early in the morning to buy everything wholesale that they need for their store. And so the first time I met Anna and Ralph was at North Face when they closed down North Face to buy a bunch of wholesale stuff in the outlets in Orlando. And so we do that every year. This year they couldn't go, which is a bummer, but
Mm,
we went with Grace's younger sister and we showed her a good time. She had fun.
cool.
Um, yeah, we went last year, 2 years ago when we went. Grace would like look at something and she'd really like it but can't afford it, and then we leave, and then I go back later and I get it for her, and that's like her. It was her graduation gift or her Christmas gift, right? Um, Last year she was looking at a purse that she really liked, and I was like, I don't have a Christmas gift in mind for you, so if you want this now, I'll get it for you, and she was super happy. And this year I don't have a Christmas gift figured out for her yet, but like I'll come up with something, right? But we went to a shoe store and she found these boots that she really liked. We went there intentionally to look for those boots. And these apparently were shoes that she's wanted since like middle school, but has never been able to afford. They're on her Christmas list, but she has an Amazon wish list. So I could look it up and see that no one had claimed it. So no one had bought her this gift yet.
Mm,
Um, she knew that it hadn't been purchased yet. And so she was hoping that they would be on sale so she could buy them. But she found the right boots. She tried a bunch of sizes and found like the pair that she wanted. But then we found out that they weren't on sale, and so
yeah,
she was really sad. Um, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna come back and get these for you later for Christmas, but I don't want you to leave the store sad. So what if I ruin the surprise and just buy them for you now?" And she was super grateful.
cool.
Um,
Nice.
so that was nice. So her Christmas gift is all sorted and figured out.
Sweet.
I'll still probably get her something small, like how yours is already, like, done, but I'm still gonna get you something so we can go racing together.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't figured that out yet, but I have time. Every other Christmas gift that I have planned out for people has gone terribly wrong. Um, I'm trying to get, something for the same thing for my dad, my brother, and Ralph. They're sold out. They've been sold out for, like, 6 months, so I don't
Mm,
know what I'm gonna do about that. The gifts that I wanna get my dad and Ralph, weren't on sale for Black Friday, so I'm, like, putting that off too. So, like, I don't know. Everything else is gonna take some time. But I got a letter. I don't know if I said it in the last podcast. I got a letter from Northrop saying, "Hey, you've made your car payments on time, so you can skip the December payment to help out with Christmas gifts,"
yeah.
which is great because I paid rent yesterday, and today I have $35 left in my bank account, so I get paid on Thursday. Um, Anyways, so that's most of my life updates, right? Up until Sunday, because starting on Sunday, my real life started with the Qatar Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I know
Nah.
you saw the results from it, but do you know what happened?
I saw like a clip online. Apparently on lap 7, there was a safety car,
Mhm,
and with the two-stop mandate,
mhm.
it was advantageous to pit under a safety car. So even though it was early in the race, most everyone aside from McLaren
Yep,
elected to pit.
yep.
And I believe the strategy call was done by um, it was a woman on the Red Bull team who was talking about it, but I don't remember her position. But she made the call to pit lap 7, and that is what got them the little bit of edge.
Yeah.
Was so they were able to win.
All weekend, McLaren have had the fastest car. I watched a race analysis even after the race. Oscar Piastri, who got second, he put it on pole. He won the sprint race. On race pace across the whole race, he was 4 tenths a lap faster than Max
Oh wow.
across the race, and he only got second because of this pit stop fuck up. But the tire manufacturer Pirelli mandated that the maximum stint length you can do is 25 laps. because this is a MotoGP track and the curbs are really serrated.
Yep.
And so they were worried about the tires falling apart. And so for the strategy to work out, you go 25 laps, you pit, you go 25 laps, you pit, and then you do the last 7 laps. It's a 57 lap race, and then you're done, right? So if you wanted to pit before the first stint of 25 laps was up, that opens up at lap 7, right? So presumably, if there's a safety car earlier than lap 7, you stay out. And if there's a safety car on lap 7, then you go in, because under a safety car, it's a completely free pit stop. You go in, you come out, you catch back up to the field. It's not like a virtual safety car
Yeah.
where everyone's going slower, so you get a cheap. It's a completely free pit stop. Um, and so on lap 7, when the safety car came out, it was Oscar in the lead, then Max in P2, and Lando in P3, and then the rest of the field, right? And so you could almost say that. So the whole reason McLaren say they didn't pit is they didn't expect the entire field to pit, which is retarded, but they didn't expect the entire field to pit. You could say, oh, well, we don't want to pit Oscar from the lead because he has track position, and track position is really important in Qatar. Maybe fine, right? But when Max dove into the pits, you could have pit Lando, who was in P3. Why didn't you pit Lando in P3?
Mm.
And I worked this out. McLaren had 4 options, right? Box both drivers, box neither driver, box one or the other, right? In 3 of those 4 situations, it favors Lando. And in one of those situations, it doesn't favor either driver. And so they went for the one situation that doesn't favor either driver because they didn't want it to look like they were favoring Lando for the championship.
Yeah.
The right pit call should have been at least like it should have been to pit both of them, right? But at the very least, they should have split their strategy. And they didn't do that. So they completely fucked up. Um, and they almost so Oscar had crazy pace like all race. He couldn't catch Max because he had to build a pit stop gap of 26 seconds on the same tires.
Oh,
He
yeah.
couldn't do it. But Lando did not have the same pace as Oscar, and Lando almost fell behind. Fernando Alonso was backing up the whole pack into like a really tight bunch.
Mhm.
And Lando almost fell back into that pit window in the middle of that pack. He barely came out in front of Fernando Alonso, so he was at high risk of falling into that pack,
Mhm.
right? Even still, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris came back out on track behind Kimi Antonelli. Oscar got past Kimi in like 2 laps. It did not take him long to get past Kimi. Lando was stuck behind Kimi on way older hard tires for like 15 laps. Could not get past him. And Lando Norris has always been the driver to bide his time and pick the perfect moment to overtake someone. Max and Oscar are they just have a you know when you're coming up behind someone on the pit straight and it's like a 50-50 shot of you're like I could try this but I'm not sure, right? They have a they have the ability to know in that 50-50 when it's just on the edge of I'm going to make it or not. Lando will always wait until instead of a 50-50 it's like an 80-20, right? And
Yeah.
you could see that like really abundantly clearly. For context, if Lando wins this race, he is world champion, right? Right now he's running in 5th, trying to overtake Kimi for 4th.
Yeah.
And he cannot get past Kimi when his teammate did it like 10 laps ago.
Yeah.
On the very last lap, Kimi has like a tiny wobble. He goes wide and Lando gets past.
Mm.
Which is frustrating to see because that's like the epitome of Lando's entire season. And that is the championship leader and maybe the next world champion is he's not getting the most out of the car. He's making stupid mistakes. His racecraft isn't good enough to overtake as well as his teammate. And then he gets lucky because the person in front of him makes a mistake and he gets through, right? All because McLaren fucked up their strategy, right? So like at this point, the race finishes Max, Oscar, or Carlos Sainz in a Williams, his second podium in a
Yeah.
Williams this year. Those are the first podiums since George Russell got the podium in 2021 when Spa was rained out,
Wild.
which is really a qualifying podium, not an on-pace podium. They've had an on-pace podium since 2018.
Wow.
So crazy that Carlos Sainz has gotten 2 before Lewis Hamilton has gotten his first with Ferrari.
Yeah, I saw like a little interview clip with him, and they're like, "How have you looked back at your season with Ferrari?" And he was like, "I haven't." And he said that. And then they're like, "How are you feeling about the race today?" And he said, "The weather's nice."
Yeah, dude, he's done. And the reason he said those things is because 2 weeks ago, John Elkann, the owner of Ferrari right now, or
Yeah.
CEO, I can't remember, he came out and said, "Listen, Ferrari's a great team. We just won the World Endurance Championship. We won Le Mans this year. We're the best. We've got a great car. Our pit crew won the pit stop championship in 2025, which they did. We just need drivers that focus more on driving and talk less. And so everyone got pissed at John Elkann for saying that because, I mean, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc are great drivers, right? Although I will also attest that if Lewis Hamilton did the same amount of work that Carlos Sainz does, then he would have had a podium by now with Ferrari. He doesn't. That's why Carlos Sainz has 2 podiums with Williams. So 2 sides to that coin. But that's why Lewis is refusing to actually say anything on it because John Elkann was like, we want our drivers to talk less. And so Lewis was like, fine, I won't say shit. But equally, before the season, I forget what, I might have been the High Performance podcast. One of the podcasts sat the drivers down and polygraphed them and asked them polygraph questions. And one that's been coming up recently is they asked Carlos Sainz, do you hope Ferrari regret their decision to fire you from Ferrari? And Carlos said no. And then they looked at it and they go, he's lying. And Carlos goes, ah. And so that clip has been doing the rounds with edits from both his podiums this year.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, super funny.
Nice.
But like, dude, that's crazy because the Williams, historically, I mean, it's been a terrible car for a decade or more, right? But historically, the Williams' best track is Monza because to be good at Monza, you have to have like no drag, no downforce, and you just have to be good on slow corners, right? And like most cars are decent if you take off like all the drag, like you cut the wing all the way down, right? So Williams, their genuine like season strategy in previous years has been don't worry about the rest of the races, try not to crash, and then just collect points in Monza. That's their whole strat, right? And so Qatar is the complete polar opposite of Monza. It's high downforce, medium and high speed corners exclusively, very few heavy braking zones, etc. Right? No one was expecting Williams to do well this year. And then Carlos got a podium on genuine pace. McLaren fucked up the pit strategy, but he genuinely took that on pace, which is just incredible. But now we go to the last race of the season next weekend. Lando's at 408 points. Max is 12 behind at 496, and then Oscar's 4 behind him at 492. Or 392, sorry, 396, 392. So what this means is if Max wins the race, Lando has to be on the podium to win the championship.
Yeah.
If Oscar wins the race, Lando pretty much has to DNF. Max has to be like P5 or something like that. Like a miracle has to happen for Oscar Piastri to win the championship, right? Which is why Oscar was so pissed after the race because now he knows that McLaren have come out publicly and said, we will not back one of our drivers to win the championship until it's mathematically impossible. We're going into the last race. It's mathematically possible for either to win, but Oscar knows that it's unlikely enough that if it's genuinely running, if we're down to the last 2 laps and it's Max, George Russell, Oscar P3, and Lando P4, McLaren will ask Oscar to swap positions with Lando to give him the championship, right? And I fucking pray that if that happens, he's bitter enough to not do it. But no one knows. Like the thing is, Lando has finished on the podium. Like I can't remember the exact stat. It's like 18 out of 23 races or something. Most races he's on the podium. It would be abnormal for him to not be on the podium next weekend. But if this exact race that we had 2 days ago happens on Sunday this week, Max will be a 5-time champion. And I'm going to want to throw up the entire race. For the record, when there was potential for McLaren to be disqualified after Vegas a few weeks ago, I put all my money on Max to win the championship, right? And that shot up to like 20%, and then it kind of trickled back down to like 10% throughout the Qatar weekend. He did not win the sprint. He was not looking good in Qatar. Now it's jumped back up to like 25, 30% again, right? So I'm up on my money. I could cash out right now and make money on it, but a captain goes down with his ship. And I'm ride or die.
Yeah.
I'm ride or die on this. So, money aside, I don't care about that as much as I do like the actual championship. But I will be absolutely fucking livid if Lando Norris wins this championship. After the performances we've seen of him and the fucking whining and snotting he does on the radio and how shitty he is to other drivers, he's just such a fuck. And Justin, I've been texting Justin and Zach nonstop since Vegas, really. Because they also watch like regularly. We've had some great podiums this year, right? Isak Hadjar, a rookie, got a podium. Nico Hulkenberg, who after 239 Formula One races broke the record for most amount of races without a podium before getting a podium.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz, 2 podiums with Williams, right? Incredible. I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. I mean, Kimi Antonelli's podiums as a rookie as well. He's had 3 now, I think. We've had some awesome podiums, right? Every time that the McLaren drivers, both of them, have been on the podium, they haven't given any attention to like the special driver, like the Nico Hulkenberg who got his. The biggest one is Nico Hulkenberg because huge story. Everyone loves Nico. Nico has deserved this podium for a long time. He finally gets it. It's in Silverstone. Lando wins the race. He's a British driver. And Lando and Oscar, like, they literally like pick up their trophies and walk to the other side of the podium and spray each other and spray the crowd. And then Nico walks over to them and they walk past him the other way again. It's like you could not have tried to ignore him harder, which is really frustrating as a Nico fan myself. But everyone got pissed about it, right? And then the juxtaposition there is with Lando's first win in Miami last year, Max and Charles were on the podium, both multi-time race winners, as Oscar and Lando were when Nico got his podium. And both Max and Charles immediately sprayed Lando and like made it all about him, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's special to be on the podium. So that fucking pisses me off too. So if after all this, Lando Norris is the world champion, I'll fucking lose my mind. McLaren don't deserve it. Lando doesn't deserve it. Honestly, Oscar doesn't deserve it either at this point because here's the thing. Lando has driven like the season that I explained earlier, where he's made small mistakes. He's never gotten the best out of the car. He's made big mistakes. He's just been generally not impressive for the type of car that he's had. Oscar was delivering for the first half of the season and then fell out into nowhere. We know the car is capable of winning races because Lando's doing it, and Oscar's just slow, which is not the driver of a world champion either. And the full time, Max has been dragging a fucking wheelbarrow to like the podium most races. It's just, oh man. So the girl that you mentioned, this is interesting. The girl that you mentioned who made the pit call is Hannah Schmidt. And she has been the Red Bull strategist for all of Max's career. She's
got it.
a fucking legend. I've seen a lot of articles like, oh, like women are finally getting their credit in Formula One, as if Hannah Schmidt hasn't been a fucking legend since 2021. Like, that's ridiculous. That's someone who doesn't watch Formula One and they should be shunned. But she also deserves her credit because Hannah fucking is awesome, right? But in the Formula One world, everyone knows that Hannah Schmidt is awesome. Everyone has always been a fan of Hannah Schmidt, right? And so when a driver wins the race, the winning driver goes up, P2 and P3 go up, and then the team of the winning driver sends someone from the team up to accept the team trophy, right? And Red Bull sent up Hannah Schmidt, the strategist,
That's cool.
the chief strategist,
Awesome.
to take that trophy, right? Which is awesome because she deserves it, but it's also a huge slap in the face to McLaren. All of this is off the back of an interview that Max gave at the head of the race weekend, where people were like, Max, you're 24 points behind Lando with 2 races to go. Do you think you can do it? And Max was like, listen, the only reason I'm here is because McLaren have fucked up so many times.
Yeah, I thought
They have gifted us this opportunity, right? And then they gave another gift in the main race this weekend too. But he's completely right. And so a lot of the stuff that Red Bull has been putting out is like kind of mind games to fuck with McLaren a little bit. And I mean, the pressure is building. And Lando Norris does not perform well under pressure. We've seen that like dozens of times. All season, Lando fans have been like, hey, we're happy Lando's doing well in the championship, but we want to see him win a hard one. Like we want to see him win like a difficult race where maybe he's not in the fastest car and there's someone who is in the fastest car going head to head with him. We've never seen that happen before. And I really don't think that the Red Bull is going to have the speed to do it this weekend. I think that the McLaren, by all rights, will be like the fastest car by a lot again. But I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
This is the first time. So in 2021 and 2016 are the only 2 championships since 2012 that we've had the title decision in the last race, right? 2021 was Max and Lewis. 2016 was Nico Hulkenberg and Lewis Hamilton, where Lewis Hamilton tried to back Nico Hulkenberg up into traffic to get someone to overtake him so that Lewis would be the champion. Didn't work. Nico was champion. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 2012, where the last race decided between 4 potential champions, right? So from 2012 to 2025, we have not had a title like more than 2 drivers go into the last race available to win, right? So this is like this will be a historic finale, like no matter how it goes. I hope it's contentious. I hope it's disgusting. I hope it's another Abu Dhabi 2021. The irony I found, because I'm pro Abu Dhabi 2021. I'm fully for it, right? I am with the Michael Massey call, and I stand by it. And here's why I stand by it. In 2021, we're coming toward the end of the race. There's a safety car that comes out. Lewis is running first, Max is running second. Everyone has the same decision. Do you pit or not? If Lewis Hamilton pits, Max has the option to not pit, meaning he'll have track position. Lewis Hamilton could pit for softs and come out behind Max Verstappen, overtake him easily and win, right? Lewis could pit and Max could pit. They come out even on tires in the same situation, and Lewis wins the championship pretty easily, right? Or Lewis doesn't pit, Max pits, comes out on better tires, and overtakes Lewis to win the championship, right? The risk is if we finish the race under a safety car, then whoever has track position wins, right? That's the risk. No one knows if it's going to finish under a safety car or not, right? So Lewis goes conservative and doesn't pit, and Max pits behind the safety car and then overtakes Lewis to win the race, right? A safety car comes out in Qatar. Oscar's running P1. Max is running P2. Oscar decides not to pit. Max pits. Max wins the race. So Max could have his first and fifth championship decided by deciding to pit under the safety car when the person running ahead of him decided not to,
Mhm.
which is absolute cinema. But I don't know. In any case, I'm so excited. The race starts at 8 a.m. on Sunday. And so like my whole, I think we record the podcast on Sunday. So
Mhm.
you'll see my reaction live
Oh yeah.
like
True.
shortly after. But I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited. This is what people have been saying. I'm taking a long time on this. I recognize that. Everyone has been saying no matter who you root for, if you're a fan of the sport, if you're a fan of Formula One, take it in and absorb it because we don't get this
Yeah.
very often
That
at
is
all.
true.
And I'm doing that to the max, right? I'm not being level headed. I'm not being like gracious or graceful. I'm being like I am sports fanning it in the way that I choose to enjoy sport, which is not they live their life in a way they don't prefer. It's Lando Norris is a bitch. I want him to get fucked out of this. I want him to crack under pressure. I want Max to play the mind games. He played mind games in Las Vegas, actually. So when you're on the warm up, the formation lap, you're supposed to stay within 10 car lengths of each other, right? And coming up to the grid, Lando's starting P1, Max is starting P2. It's Las Vegas. It's a nice night race. It's cold. There's a lot of straights, so the tires are cold. So tire prep is really important, right? And Max backs up to like 9.9 car lengths behind Lando coming up to the starting grid. And the whole time, Lando's in his mirrors. While Lando's doing his burnouts, he's talking to his race engineer about how Max is too far behind. And he's freaking out that Max is so far behind because Lando's going to have to sit on the grid longer and his tires are going to cool down, right? He wants to see if he can get Max a penalty. Valid. Max is not 10 car lengths behind. Max is like 9.9 car lengths behind. Already in his head before the race even starts, right? Then the race starts. Lando does not pre-angle his car. Lando starts straight. He gets a worse start than Max, so he comes over to cover him off, misses his braking point, and goes wide. Max was in his head before the race even started, right? I want to see the mind games happen, and I want to see Lando falter so badly.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So that's my whole life update.
Nice.
What is your business update this week?
So I got a bunch for business this week. A lot of stuff. So our last podcast was Sunday. At that point, I was making ads. Grass was looking green. And Monday, going into Monday, going into BFCM weekend, everything's been locked for a couple.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend.
Yeah,
That got me
yeah.
the
Sorry.
first time.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
worries.
Sorry. Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Going into that stretch, Monday's looking pretty good. I'm scaled up. I've decided I'm just gonna hold scale.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna try and raise scale or lower scale throughout, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm just gonna hold. $1,400 day on Monday, looking, about average for me, this month, looking strong, making ads, looking forward to the BFCM weekend, Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, Tuesday, sorry, yeah, so Tuesday, $1,500 day, so
Nice.
looking good, all is good, and then Tuesday around 6 p.m., site gets shut down. So Tuesday around 6, I pull up the site and it's locked. It says you're using an unauthorized version of the code template.
Right.
And so my site got shut down, and actually another student of his also got their site shut down.
Damn.
Um,
It's like because he fucked up the template.
he got a pirated code. I mean, he knew what it was.
Got it.
And so I ended up having to buy the real template,
Right.
cleanse the site, talk with support, get the site back up and running. And they were going to file a DMCA. So they were going to Digital Media Copyright Act my site for running on a pirated template,
Right.
which would have shut me down on Shopify like
Completely.
as a whole.
Right.
So they didn't file the DMCA because I acted quickly.
It was $450.
380.
Got it.
380.
Got it.
So that was not super cheap. But it had to get something up.
Right.
And so got that back up, and then Tuesday night, views are real low on the Shopify store. And so I'm like, I bet fucking something's fucked up in the ad account. And so I go, the ad account to disabled. Not only is that ad account disabled, but all of the other Scale 3 media backups that I had are also disabled. So literally everything I have access to that I've been saving up and saving as security for this quarter, like all shut down, like instantly. So I went from $1,500 days to $150 days overnight.
Right.
I got a backup running from somewhere else. I got a backup running from somewhere else, and it was just warming up. I mean, it was converting poorly, but it's still converting some. So
Right.
I left it there. But ad account shut down. I got
And that's on
confirmation today.
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. So I got confirmation that account is not going to be able to be recovered.
Got it.
So that's lost cause, lost into the wind.
That's the main account.
Correct. Yeah, that was the main account. So I fire up the backup. It's performing weekly. I run I try to launch the promo campaign as well. It's converting like shit. The promo campaign didn't convert at all for the first day, like not one sale. So I'm running this stuff and I'm like, well, this blows. And so I have my meeting Wednesday morning with Heath Media to kind of like review their ad accounts to review my ad account, see if something is wrong. And they pull up my stuff. And I wrote this down for perspective. Heath Media has managed over $630 million in revenue, over $200 million in total ad spend with over 1,500 businesses.
Credibility.
They pulled up my account and they said that this is the most screwed up setup they've ever seen, and were baffled by the spend allocation issue I was having. So there's a little tidbit for you.
I have a theory on that.
Well, I think I actually cracked the code of why the spend issues.
Oh, can I make my theory before you say it?
Yeah.
My theory is that you have stuck with this longer than anybody else with this problem that isn't working, to the point that it has spiraled out of control and is completely unfixable. And it's actually a testament to you sticking with something that isn't working way beyond when other people would give up, which is a good thing, but is the reason that it's not working. That's my theory. We'll get to it later.
In part, that
Okay.
could be it.
We'll see.
The spend allocation, that specific issue, I think I've figured out. The question of whether I've stuck with this, one of the things I thought about, I didn't write it down. One of the things I thought about is like, I almost feel like I have the opposite problem of like jumping. Is like, I will sit at something broken and be like, I know it can fucking work, and just like hate it with everything I got for like months on end in pure misery.
Well, that's why my thinking is like, if you had come to them in like week 3, they'd be like, oh yeah, every week
Just do more,
or just do this. But like, no, everyone comes to them at like week 3 or week 4, like they give up immediately and then go like all these people. But you have stuck with it for longer than anyone else, and so that's why it looks worse than anyone else, because you have stuck with it longer than other people.
Well,
Which I think is a medal of honor, but
I mean, I think it's a good attribute. I'd rather have that than the opposite.
yeah,
Right? Because then if I actually find something that hits, I can stick with it.
yeah,
Right? So I think that's beneficial. But I mean, I came to them and I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. I've gotten over 400 pieces of raw content. I've made over 400 different advertisements. I've been on this same product for 10 months, hammering it, different angles, new mechanisms, new avatars,
Right.
new styles of advertisements, static advertisements, video advertisements. Like I have all of this. Like I don't know where to go, right? And the guy was like, "This is like the guy who like took my call initially, from the media team was like, this is wild. Like we'll figure this out. Like there's something wrong here."
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm going into Thursday. I'm going into Thursday with essentially with my business was cut by 10x, right? The ad account is not really performing that well. All the effort I put into BFCM is essentially wasted because I'm not getting any traffic to utilize it, and I'm not getting any conversions that are worth it.
This is on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving, one of the largest media companies in the world told me that this is essentially as fucked up as they've ever seen it. They don't know what's wrong yet, but they know it's true. So I'm going into to Thursday, essentially with Thanksgiving. I'm going into Thanksgiving, essentially with biggest media company in the world telling me this is fucked.
Beyond belief.
Solved all problems, haven't solved mine.
Yeah.
Right? Business is slashed. Ad account is everything that I've saved up for the ad account and the money I spent to hold these other accounts gone over instantly. All of that, right? And I'm like, well, this blows. This really sucks, and it still does suck, to be fair. And so Thursday, I have Thanksgiving. Essentially, I'm like, with Alex, I'm like, dude, like, shit's pretty screwed up right now. Like I just genuinely need help.
They're like going around the table. They're like, "What are you thankful for today, Sander?" And you're like, "I genuinely need help." Like, it's comedic.
Yeah,
I understand.
I was appreciative that they had me though.
Oh,
It was a very nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But that's so I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, what do I do? And so I think this was a really important experience. And like throughout this experience, I have an experience like later that like solidified this for me a lot more, at least internally, from my own perspective and my own story. But like I feel like either like life or God or like just your decisions in general will occasionally scream at you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like with everything being shut down, to me personally, I felt like God was yelling at me and he was like, "Use your fucking eyes. I gave you eyes, use them." And I was like, okay, like what is going on here? Like everything is down, everything is screwed up. What's going on? And so I started looking through the comments, and I'd gotten a couple customer emails recently. I had never had these before. I got a couple recently that were like the cards weren't the same as the advertisement. I'm disappointed because the advertisement is a slightly different variant of the current product line. And back in March, I actually tried to get the one that's in the advertisement. I couldn't get it, which is why I've stuck with the current variant I have.
Now, this is your winning ad, which you filmed months ago.
Which actually came with the site when I bought the business.
Right. You've made updated ads since then, but Facebook hasn't given that any spend. So everyone's buying from an ad that you made and have to stick with that you made 8 months ago.
Right. It was launched in January.
Right. 10 months. 11 months.
11. Yeah. 11.
It's December.
12.
A year
Yeah,
ago.
it was already launched at the start of January.
Yeah.
11 months.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I know that simple does better. I know that text on screen does worse. I know that music is usually worse for me. I know. Wow, there's an entourage outside. Sorry.
Well, yeah, there's a lawn truck that was fucking blocking everybody. Yeah.
Got it. But I know that simple does better. I know that text on screen does worse. I know that clarity does better. I know that anything I try to do too complicated does worse every time. Or almost all the time, right? So far. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the customer emails. I'm looking at the variant on the screen. I'm looking at the ads I've put out. I'm looking at the replicas of the ads I've put out. And I'm like, shit, I know what's happening is the people watching the video are literally pausing the video and reading the cards on the screen. That's what's concretely different. because the winning advertisement, it doesn't really talk about the DIY cards. It doesn't really talk about the customizable cards. It doesn't really, which I think is an advantage point. If that can be sold well, I think it's a key advantage point. But what it does have that I don't have is the cards are different. The pictures are different. People are literally, and it's so baffling to me because I don't like think from that frame because I know the product so well. But they're literally pausing the video, zooming in,
They want
right?
to see what stories are
They
on the
want to
cards.
see literally the cards themselves, not just what stories, but the pictures. And I was like, shit, well, that gives me two problems. One is that the pictures aren't the same.
Right.
That's problem one. Problem two, this ad may work well from a meta perspective. And so Meta allocates budget to it because people are engaged with it.
Because they're stopping to read.
But it doesn't convert on my site because the variant isn't exactly the same or as well as it could convert.
Now, was it converting well back when the variant was the same, when the ad was
It
accurate?
was never the same.
It was never the
It
same?
was never the same.
Even before you bought the site and like
Even
January,
before I
February?
bought the site.
Huh.
And so it's because Meta allocates so much budget to it that it should scale beyond what it's scaling now, or it was scaling then, right?
Sure.
It should be really scaling. But if Meta's seeing right, because the ad is actually good for the target audience because it allows them to see what they want to see. It gives them information through the video. The audio is clear, and it's easy and simple to follow. In that respect, the ad is good. By all metrics of a advertiser or producing video, it's shit. But that doesn't matter because it's concretely delivering the information that the customer needs to see.
Right.
And so what I was looking at this and I was like, shit, well, I have two problems. The variant, right, which I asked about early on in February and March, and also in March when I tried to get the other variant. I asked them, like, dude, like this ad is for a different variant. And I talked about that. And I was told essentially like it didn't matter. It was converting, like it was fine. You just got to grow it and scale, work on making better ads, right? And so I put that out the window, and all I focused on was making better ads. And looking back at my early ads and ads today, there has been improvement in the ad, in the customer voice, in the ad copy, in how I approach it, right? In those things, there have been improvements, but there haven't been, but I haven't hit the core fundamentals of why that winning ad works because I've never understood concretely why it works. Because I don't pause videos and then zoom in on them to read material inside, right? Like I watch the video and usually it's like, a couple clips a second. Right. Or a couple clicks every few seconds or whatever. And then I listen to the audio or I read the text on screen, and then like that gives me the information, and then I buy or I don't buy. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a very different mindset. And so I'm going into Friday and I'm like, okay, I get it. So I film again. I film the ground phone again. I really zoom in on it. Put the cards, the main cards I have laid out. I put those on. And I launch it in the main campaign in the backup I have running.
With the winning ad.
With the winning ad, and it gets very little spent, to be expected. I'm like, okay. But this is the kicker. The winning ad isn't really converting either. It's just getting spent.
Oh.
And so
Interesting.
I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is like that moment where I feel like God is screaming at me. He's like, dude, like all your ad accounts are down. Your site went down. You have these customer emails. You have all this stuff. You've come to this conclusion. You see that an ad is not converting and it's getting spent. You know from your courses that there are occasionally advertisements that get a lot of spend, but then do not convert because it's based on engagement, not based on conversion necessarily in terms of how easy it is for Meta to share it.
Right.
And so it's like, I just feel like I'm being yelled at, and I'm like, okay, like I'm going to try the separate campaign again, because if I'm going to crash on this, I'm not going to crash, or like I'm going to crash by my own accord.
Right.
Like at least I can launch a separate campaign. So on Saturday, I go into Saturday, and at this point, Ad Revival, the agency I'm working with, after the account was unrecoverable, essentially, they issued me a new account. That one converted terribly too.
Got it.
So I've since pulled out, issued a refund, all that good stuff. Um, and so I start building my separate campaign. And so I build out an advertisement that's very zoomed in with the cards in front of it. I build out a version of that that's just a quick video of a kid at the front, 3 different videos of a kid, and then that same exact style for the rest of the video. And then I start building out a few other advertisements. I create variants of my static advertisements that I put a lot of effort into. I put those all in a separate test campaign, and I launch it. And so
On Friday.
Saturday,
Got it.
because I built on Saturday.
Got it.
I launched it Saturday night. Then going into Sunday, I'm looking at the test campaign, and all the metrics look terrible. The cost to reach 1,000 customers is 2 times what it is my winner. The cost per click is 3 times what it is for my winner.
So you're multiplying the already poorly performing what was your second ad account, or are you?
Yeah, this is my
comparing to-
backup. I'm comparing between the current winning ad running and my test campaign.
Got it.
Running.
So you're not even comparing to what it was working at the beginning.
No.
Of
That's
the old
yeah.
campaign.
Right.
In the old ad account.
Comparing in this ad account with these 2 campaigns, how they compare.
So we're comparing apples to apples.
Yes.
Got
Yeah, apples to apples. So all of the metrics of my test campaign, or not all, but CPM, which is cost to reach 1,000 people, and cost per click is way higher.
Got it.
And I'm like, okay, but the click-through rate, so the amount of, the rate of people that see it and then click it is almost the same. So the cost to reach people is higher, and fewer people are clicking because the cost to reach is higher, but the percentage of people who do click after seeing it is relatively close, very close to my winners. And this is after a day of the test campaign, so it's not optimized to these ads at all. It's still trying to figure out what it's doing.
That's why your CPM is high, because it's not optimized.
Right. And this is where I learned this. So it's like all these learnings are starting to like stack together a little bit. And also the CPM is really high because the competition's really high, because it's Black Friday weekend.
Right.
Because everyone is running ads.
Right.
And so the competition is insane.
The CTR
to reach this. The market isn't bigger. It's not like there are more people on Facebook now because it's December.
Right.
Right. No, it's just that there's more people running ads. So it costs more if you want to reach people, because there's more competition for the bidding of the same audience.
Right.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, CPM and CPC are way up, but click-through rate, and this is the really interesting part. Although the performance was poor the first day, the conversion rate of my test campaign was 2.5 times higher than that of the winner. And so I'm like, okay, this has legs.
Right.
It's not good yet, but it's got legs. And so
converting qualified leads, you just don't have many qualified leads because it's not the audience isn't optimized.
Right. Exactly.
Got it.
And my cost is so cheap for the winner because it has thousands. I looked at it, it has like almost 2 million views.
Right.
With
Got a
thousands of
got a
likes.
huge amount of data behind it.
Ton of data. Or not, in
Pixel.
Yeah, or in a ton of data for me, right?
Right.
It's in comparison to what I'm launching, right?
Well, a ton of data compared to the brand new ad that doesn't have shit behind it.
Yeah. And so, part of this like journey through this, it was really challenging for me mentally as well. Going through this was really, really hard. And I was like, okay, what lessons can I pull away from this? And I was like, I heard Hermosi mention this, and he was like, I've seen people that believe in God and don't believe in God both become really successful. And the framework for people who don't believe in God that become really successful is, what can I learn from this situation? And the people who believe in God who become really successful think from a frame of, what is God trying to teach me through this situation, right? And so the 2 different sides of the coin, kind of to just learn. Right. And so believing in God, I was like, okay, like what can I learn from this situation? And I was like, okay, like, I think that part of this is like, and it's something that I heard this week that was really helpful to this. I heard this earlier this week. I don't remember what day, but it was like, if you want to be wise, you have to solve problems that seem unsolvable. If you want to be strong, you have to go through challenges that seem impossible. If you want to learn to love, then you have to learn to love despite the struggle, right? And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, like, if I want to build, and something that I've always really appreciated about business is it's a great vehicle for self-growth and self-development, just broadly speaking. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, like, out of this situation, what kind of person do I want to become and grow into? And am I that person today, or do I still have work to do in order to achieve these things, right? Or become the person that is worthy of receiving, or acquiring these things, right? Because it's one thing to just have $1 million in the bank account, and it's another thing to be someone who is built into a person worth $1 million,
Mm.
right? Like, to me, that's a different frame of mind. And so I was looking at this and I was like, well, I've developed a lot in business, and I've developed a lot personally, but one thing that I've never developed is being really honest with my family of where I'm at.
Mhm.
And so I felt like really overwhelming pressure, like Saturday night going to and Sunday as well. I was like, just like, and I like couldn't focus. I was like, just call your mom, call your dad, tell them about the situation, right? And I was like, this is gonna go so terribly. I was like, this is gonna be so rough. And I called my mom and I called my mom first because I figured that one was gonna be tougher.
Mhm.
At least in my mind, how I had framed it, because she worries more, right?
Yeah.
And so I figured it would be harder. And so I was like, I'll do that one first.
Call your dad first, and then he texts your mom before you can call her. You're fucked.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Good choice.
And so I called my mom and I'm like, hey, like, I just got like a few things. I feel like I've been kind of living a lie, and I told her about the cats. I told her about the Porsche. And then she didn't care about the cats. She was like, I knew you had cats. You fucking, and I was like, yeah. And she was happy that I got the Porsche, right? And then I told her about the business stuff and told her that I quit my job in order to do it full time, and that it wasn't going as expected. Um, and she was like, "How much is the debt? How much is the debt?" And I was like, between like the assets and the debt and all that stuff, it's about 20 grand that I have that like I like do not know how to pay. And she was like, "Okay, well, is it accruing interest? Where's this debt? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "It's zero interest until May or June, depending on how much of the debt you look at." And she was like, "Okay, well, not easy to make 20 grand by June, but we got to figure it out, right?" And so she took it like tenfold better than I thought it was gonna go. And like, honestly, like, thank God. Like, I thought it was just gonna be atrocious. I had so much anxiety about the situation. Like, I thought it was just gonna be a train wreck. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm in such a hole now. Like, I mean, I think one of the Hermosi perspectives that I like is like, when you have nothing to lose, like, you actually have nothing to lose.
Mhm.
And like, when you feel as though you're at rock bottom, like that's the time to solve the rock bottom shit.
Right.
And so I was like, well, like, I've pretty much lost everything at this point. I've lost the ad account that I've maintained for now 6 months. I lost the backups that I've paid to keep in case it went down,
Mhm.
right? I've the site, I had to buy a new template. I've realized that the winning ad that I was sold on being like the winner that I needed was actually suffocating my ability to scale rather than help my ability to scale. Like, all these things, I realized that like the entire business frame, or like, for perspective, literally every aspect of the business that I purchased at this point has broken. The ad, it, I've figured out at this point, doesn't work because I can't get the correct variant that matches the ad because people are literally reading the cards on the screen. The site that I purchased, I literally had to buy again and then rebuild aspects that didn't cleanse with the code properly,
Right.
right? And then every everything that I purchased with the business is broken besides like what I had built as an understanding of the product.
Mhm.
But that's like what I've done for the last 11 months,
Right.
10 months.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, like, I'm at, I'm at a low point. Like I was thinking about it and I was like, this is definitely rougher than even like the accident was for me. Like this is hard. This is a tough pill to swallow. And I'm looking at him, it's like, well, if obviously the not ideal time to maybe call your parents and tell them about this is when you're at rock bottom, but there's also kind of no better time because you're already in the frame of like, well, I've kind of hit a brick wall, right? Um, and so that conversation went really well,
Good.
and so I'm very very thankful for that. I hope it continues to go well, and that Christmas goes well and all that stuff, right?
Did you talk to your baba?
No,
Got it. I'm sure your mom will tell it.
I leave that to my mom to coordinate.
Gotcha.
Um, just because it's a little bit easier. Yeah, if my mom knows my baba better than I know my baba, and despite the fact that I love my baba tremendously, and she also comes from a different frame of mind and a different background,
Right.
right? Very different background, and so there's like a certain aspect to it of like, I need to, like, I want to ensure that she's comfortable.
Right.
And so I go through this process, and I'm seeing the test campaign, and it's like it's not doing great, but it's showing legs, right? And so yesterday, test campaign's looking better. The CPM is down. Cost per click is about the same as my main campaign. The click-through rate of my test campaign is 3x that of my winning ad. And the conversion rate is a touch lower, but that makes sense because there's 3 times more people clicking on it.
Right.
But I mean, the conversion rates, it's like 4% versus 5.3%. Like it's a small difference.
Not too huge, yeah.
Not too huge. And so now actually the test campaign performed the same as my main campaign on Sunday, the first day launch, and it performed better than the test or than the main campaign on Monday.
As it's collecting information.
As it's collecting data, it's
optimizing,
optimizing, right? And so I launched a bunch of ads Sunday or into Sunday with it, and then I launched new ads into Monday, right? And my new ads are like, I have a $200 budget on it.
Right.
My new ad sets I have a lot of ad sets in here. This isn't like when I was running ads earlier, I would have like a $400, $500 budget, converting, but on a $400, $500 budget, my test brand new day of might get somewhere between 25 cents and $1 of spend.
Right.
I launched them on a $200 a day budget in this new campaign. And yes, it's fresh. So it's a little bit more like it's going to juggle the spend a little bit more than it would otherwise.
Right.
But on a $200 a day budget, my brand new tests get $15 a spend a piece.
Because it's not getting all sucked up by one winning it.
10 ad sets in there.
Right.
Not 3 on a $400, $500 a day budget.
Because it's not all getting soaked up by one big winning ad.
Because it's not getting soaked up by one winning ad that does engage, that does work well, but doesn't match the product variant enough to convert.
Right.
Right. And so it's like, hindsight 2020, right? It's like what you said earlier. It's like I stick so long with this broken shit that I'm just like, part of this lesson as well was like I've paid for mentorship, I've paid for courses, I've paid for materials, I've paid for help, and I haven't invested anything into trusting myself with it. Like really, when it comes down to it, is like I have presumed, because like the mindset is like the mindset I had going into it was like other people have done it, I haven't done it. There are things that I don't know. There are things that they know.
Right.
If I can do what they did and learn from what they know, I don't have to learn for myself because I can learn through others. That was my framework going through a lot of these mentorships and courses, and I learned a lot. But I lost how to think through these things myself.
Yeah, I think it's a good plan of attack, and I think usually it works better because the people that you're learning from have a genuine understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
But in the meta world, a lot of people find success without really understanding why.
Yeah.
And then they take that success and then sell programs that claim to teach
Exactly.
you, and they're genuinely teaching you what has worked for them and why they think it's worked for them, but they don't really know why.
Yeah.
And so you are purchasing information that has credibility behind it but doesn't have clear explanation. They don't really understand why either, but they're making money, so it has to work even if they don't understand it, right? I watched a video last night on how chiropractors are quacks. And the guy interviews chiropractors and then people who like think that it's all bullshit, right? And a lot of the chiropractors are like, no, this is genuine. Like we do these hand practices and then people feel better. And then the question is, well, why? And they go, I don't know why, but like it works. And
Yeah.
it's like selling a course teaching chiropractics, but you don't know why it works if it does work.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll be placebo if you don't understand
Exactly.
it. Right?
Exactly, right? And so, like, the people who sell meta courses or, like, mentorship might not have a really deep understanding of what's going on,
Yeah.
and thinking critically is thinking outside the norm of the whole communities. Like, several months ago when we were talking about how, "Oh, like, don't just trust Meta, like, go open test campaigns to get the attention off of that one winning ad because you have other ads that are good, but everyone else says that that's stupid and you should just keep ideating until you get a new ad that beats the winning ad." Like, I think that was a moment of critical thinking and coming from our own fresh perspective as opposed to just following the herd,
Yeah.
right? Which is, I think, what sets you apart from the people that pivot way too soon. Like
Yeah.
someone who would have pivoted after 3 weeks of having this issue wouldn't have the understanding that you do now. They might have a more successful store at the moment, but they wouldn't understand why. They might make money selling mentorship classes, but they won't make money in a really successful dropshipping store in 5 years.
Yeah. And something else that dawned on me this week is my mentor has always said he always been big on product testing. Um but he's focused on his main products because it's been converting for him for
Right.
this time period. Um but he's mentioned a few times that the way he got to where he is today is by product testing. He eventually found a product and an advertisement that hit, and that has carried him throughout this time.
Right.
One ad, one product. And so I'm thinking about this and I'm like, I don't know what the product is, but I think I know how this happened.
Right.
Is he product tested with TikTok content,
Hmm.
and there's a TikTok rip ad out there that is converting at 30, 40, 50, 60K a day. And it is literally a TikTok ad.
And you think that's what's working for him?
I am almost certain that that is the ad that's carried it.
And do you think
Because
that's why he
he
has
always
showed you
had,
that at?
yeah, because it's not something that he created. It's a TikTok rip.
Interesting.
Because
So explain to me how that works. Someone sees a TikTok ad, they click on it, they go to his store and buy stuff?
exactly.
Got it.
Well, it's a TikTok ad run on Meta, right? It's a downloaded video from TikTok, and then with a call to action, put that at the end, and then put money behind it.
Got it. So he downloaded an ad from TikTok, put it on Meta, and then ran that as a Facebook ad.
Because that's
Understood.
how he does product testing in general.
Got it. So he'll find like a generic ad that doesn't have a bunch of like, thought and care. And, oh, well,
Well,
you
it
could,
works well because it's from some given
well, you don't have
audience
to
or
make
something.
the ad at all. Like you just pull ads that are already made. So like when someone suggests that you do ad ideation instead of sitting down and coming up with ads yourself, what they really mean is scroll through TikTok and rip ads and then
Well,
it's
the courses genuinely do mean like ideate, like they have proof of stuff that they have done, right?
okay.
But when
But
I'm
a
thinking,
method of ideating is going and finding existing ad, like whoever ripped your ads, the Walmart, right? Walmart did product test ideation by pulling your ad and then running that themselves.
right, and so I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh shit, like I've been like the courses were very helpful, um, but I've been literally trying to do something that like I at this point now that I understand I have very high confidence level that that's what it happened because he always tests at TikTok content to paid ad
Hmm.
and then runs that to a different product, and if the product hits he just grows.
Got
on
it.
scales. And then he's been trying to build more advertisers, but he's been struggling with spend issues. He's been struggling with these other things, right?
Because he doesn't understand why the first one worked.
Right. And so then it really hit me. I'm like, oh shit, like I have someone who's like who I have contact with who's made it in dropshipping e-commerce, but me trying to make a winner that takes over my winner is something that I literally don't know anyone
Right.
who has done it. Like I'm trying to do something year one, less than year one, that like very few people have done.
Right.
And so then I'm like, oh fuck. That's why it's so friggin' hard.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, yes, it's also hard because advertising is hard. Right. But it's like this is like, oh, like there are like then it really hit me out. It's like, oh, there are far fewer people that really understand advertising and really understand like ad building than I give credit to.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
far, far fewer.
and I don't see very many people doing the same type of analysis that you're doing and like doing the same type of like work output and like trying to think through like understanding the customer and the book from the advertising book from the 60s or
Yeah,
80s.
Eugene Schwartz at
Okay.
Breakthrough Advertising.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the same number of people going through like the people that you met at the PBD Vault conference weren't there might be people that have more success but not the same understanding.
Yeah.
And I think that understanding takes you a long way. I actually had a conversation with Grace about or someone about this. I forget who, but it was about how I think that people who understand the mechanics of cars, like if you wrench on your own cars, you can learn how to drive a lot faster, like
Yeah.
more rapidly than people who don't have an understanding of the cars because you understand mechanically what's happening when you put the car through different scenarios where so you can understand this is what's happening to the car, this is what's happening to me, and then here's what's happening on track and how I can manipulate that. But people who don't understand how cars work only know what the output is and how that feels, and then you have to work from there. And
Yeah.
so someone who has more of a technical background might learn faster than someone who doesn't. And that's kind of what's happening with what I think is happening here with the dropshipping thing, where you are learning how cars work and other people don't. The
Yeah.
other people have faster lap times right now, but
Yeah.
they don't understand why.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, I was looking back on this on like because this has been a tough year. Like it's been a hard year. And I look back on it and I'm like, man, like the the real gift that I've been given this year is the fact that it's been so hard. Like the fact that like this shit just felt so challenging and was grueling and miserable and like still is hard. You
Right.
know, like I haven't made it yet, but it's like, and like making it's like, kind of like a funny definition in itself. But like this like I've been very gifted in the lessons that I've learned.
Right.
And like and there's nothing monetarily that I can show to reflect the lessons. But like concretely coming to this point, I'm like, oh no, like I'm growing into the person I want to become. Like this is that process. And it's painful because I have to grow out of who I was. And like that, like it's simple in itself, but like going through it, like going through these hurdles is like it's the I saw a Mike Tyson quote. I fixed my Instagram feed to like all great motivational quotes, and I'm like so much happier with it like that. It's so great.
What did you change it from?
Like cars and women.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Mine's like cars.
It's pretty
Girls
broken of
making
like
it.
general 20-year-old, like just like general 25-year-old male.jpg algorithm was like what I got.
That's
You
mine.
know what I mean?
That's where I got.
And so, but then the more I just stop on like the long form podcast interviews, the like more it just shows me that. And like now like my entire feed is just that. I'm like, perfect.
Dude, it
Great.
learns so fast. You can change it like multiple
Yeah.
times in a day. It's fucking crazy. Because sometimes I only want to see motorsport stuff, and sometimes I only want to see people getting hit by trains, and I can change it like pretty quickly. But you go on. Go on.
Yeah. I saw this Mike Tyson quote and he was like, um, he said, the come up is beautiful and it sucks. it sucks going through it. It's really, really painful going through it. But when you look back on it, it's like the most beautiful thing, right? And that's where I feel like I'm in. Is like I don't know where the light is at the end of the tunnel. I don't know when I'll break past like this set of lessons onto the new set of lessons, right? Like I don't know like when that's gonna happen, but like this is a come up story in the making because I refuse to quit.
Right.
And therefore it will be a come up story on some time horizon.
Right.
Um
Well, wouldn't it suck way worse if it just like worked out of the box immediately and you didn't know why?
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's why a lot of wealthy people say that money doesn't make you happy, and it's because it doesn't. Like having knowing that you have earned it and why you've earned it is what makes you happy. Right.
Growing into it,
Right.
developing as a person, like that there's beauty in that.
Understanding why I think is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's why like trust fund to kids, like you are born into fortune and then like you can afford to go lose money. And if you don't make any
Yeah.
money, then like, you're not happy because you haven't actually done it. Right. Or if you,
Yeah.
well, a lot of lottery winners are depressed and it's because they didn't do anything to win the money. Right. But, if you go through the learning process of not making any money, and so you have to learn how to make the money, and then once you've made that money, then you're like, "Oh, well, I know how to do it. It's replicable. I know why this is the case." Other people can get lucky and that's fine, but, I'm satisfied because I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And then you go do it again. And it sucks less next time because you have money from the first bout that makes life more comfortable while you do it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the fundamental behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but looking back on this, I was like, I I've learned a lot, and like this week was really a process of like when I was hit in the face so hard that I had to like I was forced to step back and be like, what the heck am I gonna do? Like,
Mhm.
what am I gonna do? And like that process was like when I started to connect the dots of like, oh shit, like I've I've I haven't trusted myself. Like I'm smart enough to figure this stuff out, but um I have to allow myself to think through it,
Mhm.
you know? And that's something that like I had lost in part throughout this process. And so I launched some ads and I launched in these test campaigns. And a lot of the simple ads, really simple, just with the gramophone and like some kids on the front, like those right now are doing the best. I watched some revised UGC stuff, like brand new scripts, brand new everything, and like those are getting some spend and they're doing okay. And what's interesting is I actually launched direct replicas of my winner, like direct replicas, took the same audio, took the same voice, did the same cutscenes, did the same framing of the gramophone, laid out as similar cards as I could, like very clean cut. And s- uh, two of my current ad sets are outperforming that ad set.
Do you know the difference between those ads
Yeah,
being had?
the main one that's performing the best right now is that same style ad, the same one,
Mhm.
but with a kid in the hook.
No, no,
Or
no.
with-
What I mean to say is like the exact replicas of the winning ad now are in an ad set which it like where it doesn't have the competitive advantage of having a shitload of engagement behind it already.
Well, yeah, and it's also like the variant is the big kicker here. Like I
Right.
think that's the engagement and the variant is what really hurt me. And it's not something I considered because I was told it didn't matter
Right.
because I didn't think.
I was told
Um,
it didn't matter by someone who doesn't understand.
I was told it doesn't matter by someone who has incentive for it not to matter because they sold me the thing.
Well,
Like
yeah,
if
I
you
guess
sold, like if well, not you because I know
a
you wouldn't do
person.
this. Let's say Joe Schmo, right, sells a business to someone, and they're like, "Hey man, this looks pretty screwed up." Like the person who just sold it to them that just made money off of them has incentive to say, "No, don't worry about it."
I guess
Right?
it's the whole issue that people have with therapists where it's like they don't want to actually help you solve their problems because you make money off of having
Yeah.
problems.
Right.
So it's like a mentor isn't going to want to help you solve your problems because they want to keep getting paid for being your mentor. Right.
Yeah, and I think it could come from that place, right? I think the result is the result that I've laid out, right?
Right.
But I think genuinely, like, I think there's actually a solid possibility that it genuinely came from a really honest, good place of him saying, like, it doesn't matter. Because I think there's a
Yeah.
high probability that the current TikTok ad that he's running for his product, in my theory,
Yeah.
he's having the same conditions with.
Well, that's the point that I was making, is
Yeah.
that I think it's advice coming from a place that doesn't really have understanding, right? Like,
Right.
he can say,
Not
"Oh,"
genuine understanding from the advertising perspective. Yeah.
right, that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
It's
Sorry. Yeah.
like I don't I oh well, I've only seen information indicating otherwise, and so it doesn't matter, right? But with why wouldn't it matter, right? Like, if I want to buy a Red Bull and you give me a Coke, I'm gonna be confused, right?
Yeah.
And so I can only see why it's one of those small things where it's like, what might not matter, but it definitely doesn't hurt, right? Like, it can't hurt to be advertising exactly what the product is, right? Unless you're advertising something better, but even then you're going to end up with unhappy customers. Lego does this. Lego will change the graphics for an advertisement, and then when you actually buy the Lego set, it's not as good as in the ad. And then you're like, "Well, what the fuck, Lego?" Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's an instance where you have an unhappy customer, but you make sales, but it's a nitpicky thing. Um but yeah, I think it's advice coming from a place that doesn't really have true understanding, and I think that's the advantage of having this. Like, how long did your mentor go with a store that doesn't work before he started making real money
He's
off
been in dropshipping for 4 years now.
for 4 years?
4
So
years. 5, I think, now.
you've been in it for like 20-25% of the time that he has, right?
Yeah.
Was he like as unsuccessful as you have been for his first year?
Um,
Have you sucked longer
I don't
than he
know.
had?
He's had some successes along the way, some good businesses, but he hasn't really had something that's, like, been long-term successful as, like, his current business.
Got it. But I think the point that I mean to say is, I think that you are past the point where most people would have given up by now,
Yeah.
and I think that the people who have more experience now saw that success earlier on and didn't have to learn the lessons that you're learning, didn't have to have the level of understanding of dropshipping as you are getting, because they weren't in a place where they had to. Like, it was just working, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're just naturally fast, you're less inclined to look at your throttle shape or your braking points because you're just naturally fast. And so you don't really have to look into in that level of detail, right?
Yeah.
If you had a dropshipping store right now that was doing 40, 50K days, right? It's real easy to sit back on that and go, I should probably come up with another product that converts the same just in case this one gets shut down. But like, you're not going to be looking into it with the same amount of like vigor as I
Yeah.
mean, you with your character would, but also that person, if they didn't have anything going for them, did.
And it's like, I wouldn't have learned all these lessons that I've learned
Right.
throughout this year, right? Like, if I bought the business and it had genuinely been $200 a day in profit from day one and scaled into Q4 and doubled and tripled or quadrupled in profit,
Right.
like, very likely I wouldn't have learned the same lessons.
Right. I mean, if it were that easy, then like everyone would do it, right? I'd start a drop shipping store
Right.
if it were as easy and plug and play as that.
Yeah. And so, going into December. Now we're in December. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm gonna continue testing ads for this product because I think my ads have gotten better. I figured out concretely why the winner works, and my current ads did not get spent and didn't convert as well because I had tested previous campaigns.
Right.
Right now, I think I have a baseline where I can trust myself going forward with these ads. And so I'm committed to it at minimum the next month for this specific product only. In January or coming up through January, I have to make an assessment of where I'm at, right? Do I product test or do I get supplemental income, right? Do I get a part-time job? Something? And I was talking to my mom about this and I was like, honestly, part of the reason I quit the job was it was so painfully taxing to be there. Like, it just hurt.
You did have a worse than normal job.
It was rough. It was better in a lot of respects, right? It was better than like sitting out in the sun for 12 days and doing lawn care. But
Worse, well, given your degree, I think comparing our jobs, right? Mine is 15 minutes from home. It's a standard 9 to 5.
yeah,
Yours was 45 minutes from home, random night shifts, 80-hour work weeks. Like, like you have to be involved with there wasn't much downtime with your job. It was either no downtime or only downtime, right? So like I think it was a worse job than most 9 to 5s typically are, right? Also
Some
soul
extent.
crushing, but takes more time and energy than most standards do.
Yeah, yeah, and she was like, like, if you have to get a job, like, just get something automotive related. Like, just like, um even if it's something like shop style, like, just do something that's not gonna crush you,
Mhm.
and then do it part-time and try to continue this, or do it full-time and continue this, like, whatever
Get your
whatever
real
the
estate
finances are
license.
need be. What?
I said, get your real estate license.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Um, yeah, that'll be a fun conversation. I'm like, "Mom, I'm pivoting last minute."
I'm changing
The new thing that I don't understand.
this other thing that doesn't work. Yeah.
It does work. I just, it would be a pivot. So, um, I got some options. Um, but I'm really looking like now I'm genuinely looking forward to the next couple of months.
Well, okay, so Black Friday tanked because everything that you had shut down and it wasn't
Yeah.
working to begin with, right? So you missed Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for lack of a better expression, right?
Yeah. I mean, nothing.
But now you have a website that currently isn't shut down, ad accounts that are working, ad
More or
accounts,
less,
ad ac-
conversions are, they're okay.
sure, ad accounts that are collecting data,
Yeah.
right, and aren't completely in the red. And you have identified some of the problems with your previous broken all the spend going to one ad. So this ad isn't doing that. So you have 2 or 3 weeks of collecting data and optimizing ahead of the Christmas rush. And so, like, you've missed Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but that's only half of the Q4 lift because Christmas is bigger than anything, right?
Yeah.
And so you could still see significant lifts to the point that you're profitable enough that you don't have to go get supplemental income by January. So, I mean, we don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, no, no,
There's still
it's
hope.
possible.
Yeah,
And like even in the
that's my
3 days that I ran this test campaign with all the knowledge that I've gathered and understanding,
right,
I'm able to look at these tests. I'm able to pull so much more out of these tests
right,
just from running like all of the knowledge that I've gathered and then running this test campaign. Like I'm looking at these and I'm genuinely able to pull information out of these to understand why. I'm
right,
like that's just so much more valuable. And I have confidence that maybe I can't make it hit this quarter, but there's a much higher probability that I make something work if I can understand why it works or doesn't work,
right,
right? And so it's a lot easier for me to like ideate and go through this process. And I have some unique ad ideas, um, like in the works, and I like it's just so it's a refreshing breather
right.
rather than like I calculated yesterday. I just like did like select all in my Dropbox. I've made 475 advertisements,
Hmm.
and like two of those advertisements got over 5% of spend of my main budget in my main campaign. Two of
Yeah,
475.
yeah,
Two. And
that's
so it's
tough.
like, it's literally been 473 advertisements I have put out in batches of 3 to 5 and said, like, put it out, no spend, trying to figure out how to get better. Put it out, no spend, trying to figure out like 473 times
Right,
of those ads. I've like it's like that process. Like I've that process was painful, and it's taught me a lot. I'm thankful to have a system right now that at least is allocating more budget to them,
right,
and that I can learn effectively from because there's actual statistically evident data that I can learn from.
right. Well, you're actually getting feedback
Yeah,
rather than just getting
yeah.
stonewalled.
Yeah, and so I'm going through that process, working through it as best I can, learning, and we will see where it grows from here. Um,
I have high hopes.
I hope so.
I
I
mean,
hope
the
so.
like even it's the same thing that we've been saying, which is if your ads get spent, then I think that they'll convert, even if it's not as good as a winning ad. I still think that they'll perform, and you can analyze how they're performing to make better ads. But if they aren't spending at all, then you don't get any data, and then it doesn't work at all. So you know, it's kind of a you know although your ad account getting banned for good sucks, it also opens up the opportunity to use a new ad account that isn't tainted by, what we thought was a good thing by having a lot of data behind an ad so that you can optimize the delivery of that ad, but is then suffocating and blocking all the others, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that a step in the right direction was doing the test campaign in the other ad account. And this is just a more extreme version of that, right? Where, okay, you don't have a winning ad that's absolutely crushing consistently like the old one did, but you have the opportunity of building back into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so, yeah, I'm looking forward to this month. I'm putting out new content every day. I'm making 6 to 9 ads a day, putting them out there, testing them, analyzing, developing plans, developing ideations.
Cool.
It's stuff from some certain ad works well. I'll iterate that into something new.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at today. And we'll see where I'm at in 5 days,
Sweet, dude.
next Sunday.
Hell yeah.
That was very long-winded. What do you have for business?
Mine's shorter. I had open house number 26 in a row.
Nice, you did it.
Yeah. On
Sweet.
I learned my lesson from last week where we did one or maybe 2 weeks ago. We scheduled it like the day before, and I realized that people weren't coming in because a lot of people find it online on like Wednesday or
Mm,
Thursday. And so we scheduled this one in advance, like the Sunday before.
mm.
Um, but it was still slow. I can't remember if we had anyone come through. Where did I do this open house? We had one group come through. It was a showing. They had scheduled the showing. Okay, I remember this now. This was 3 days ago, and I can't remember it. Um, that's how slow it was. But this was in Southwest Palm Bay on like the border to like nothingness, way out there.
Yeah, yeah.
The traffic light isn't a permanent traffic light yet. It's literally like a scissor lift with a light on it.
Yep.
Middle of nowhere, right? But it's a nice house. It was in a gated community, which we didn't know ahead of time. So we got there, called the agent, or Grace texted the listing agent, and got the gate code. But the problem there is, I can go inside the neighborhood and put signs up, but if anyone sees my signs on the main road, they get to the gate, they can't get in. So usually we know ahead of time, we write a little piece of paper that says like, call this number for the open house and we'll give you the gate code. And we tape that on the thing. We've actually had those pieces of paper torn down before by people, which is real shitty because we don't know until after the open house is done. And then I'm like, oh, maybe people were coming by the whole time and like just turned around at the gate. Um, and so this time the issue is we didn't have a Sharpie marker, paper, and tape with us because we just didn't have it on hand. We didn't
Yeah.
plan for it to be a gated community. So we went in, set up all the signs. I drove home. Fortunately, it wasn't far from home. Grabbed the tape. But the lesson that taught me is I should have a sign that says, if you're looking for the open house in this neighborhood, call the gate. Call this number for the gate code. I should have that piece of paper on me at all times, and I should have it nicely designed rather than Sharpie markered on. So
You can just print out something simple, laminate it, and then use dry erase to write the
that's
code on it.
exactly what I'm doing. So this
Oh,
is the
cool.
sheet that I designed.
Yeah, yeah, perfect.
And so then I'll have this laminated and cut in half. But open house, I can write in Sharpie marker on the laminate here. And then this is my number. This is Grace's number in case only one of us is doing the open
Nice.
house. So that's done. I also realized so many people across the whole time, the first 24 open houses that I did, they knock on the door. Like I'm not inside waiting for them. And they'll knock and wait for me to come to the door, which is fine. Like it gives me an opportunity to say hello. But like I don't want people to hesitate and not come in because they aren't sure, right? And so I designed this, which is something I'm also going to have printed and laminated that I can hook on a suction cup that I can put on the front door. It just
Yeah.
says open house welcome in to like get people to come inside. Um, this has been helped. Actually, I noticed Tristan's signs that I've been using, the Blue Marlin branded signs that I don't like to put on the road because they aren't as eye catching. I've been putting all of his signs in the front yard. So like when you come up to the house, you can't miss it because there's 15 signs in the front yard. One of them says open house, come in. And I've been putting that in front of the door and people have been coming in. So this should
Cool.
be even better. But it was slow. We had one group come through that was a showing. So that was pre-scheduled with their real estate agent. But the craziest part to me is this house had a Ring camera in every corner of every room throughout the entire house
Wow.
and outside. So many cameras, right? The blue lights were on. You can tell it's recording, right? Which no big deal. Someone lives here. It's their house. I completely understand you want to see people coming through. What I couldn't believe is the realtor and their group that were there as a showing, looking at the house potentially to buy it, stood on the staircase and spoke for 45 minutes about the details of that person's financial situation and what type of offer they can put on the house. And I'm like, hey, dude, like the seller's probably watching you on the cameras, and now he knows that you have X amount of money in this bank account and this much coming in your next bonus, and you can put an offer this much, and like here's your bottom line. They're talking all these technical details in the house with all the cameras, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, what a terrible real estate agent. And I don't know anything about the agent. I don't know her deal. It seemed like my aunt is a realtor type of situation. Um, but it like just once again hammering home, like, be particular about the agents that you choose because that's crazy. And like the very first showing that I ever did with a client, I was with Grace, and like we hung out, and I was talking to him in the open house about what he liked and didn't like about the house. We didn't talk any financials because although there weren't any cameras or microphones, you never really know. It's just in poor taste, right? And so afterward, Grace was like, "Hey, we should just go there, look at the house, and then talk about the house outside. We'll go to a coffee shop or the office. Even if it's like, do you like the curtains? Like, just do all of it outside." And so that's something that I got more strict on. But like, even when I was my most green, I've never been like, you know, how much do you think you have in escrow to put down right now? Like, I've never gotten into that level of detail. So that was crazy. Crazy to see. Those are the only people that came through the open house. So on the one hand, I was kind of bummed. It was the day. It was 2 days after Thanksgiving. It was Saturday. So you know, I probably shouldn't have expected too many people to come through, but I've also noticed since September, October, there's been like a significant dip in the number of people that we've had come through. And I think it's because the housing market slows down through the winter and then picks back up in the spring and summer, right? Um, but that's okay because I didn't have my package done in time anyways.
Mm.
Once again, which is frustrating. But here's the deal. So at the end of last week, my goal was to get it finalized and printed
Yep.
and then start delivering it to people at the open house that I had 2 days ago that no one came to, right? And that didn't end up happening. Here's why. So I sat down, almost done with it. I'm waiting on 3 companies to get back to me at this point. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm not waiting on these companies. It's an AC air duct cleaning company. It's a water and fire damage restoration company, and it's my CPA. Those are the 3 people I'm waiting for. And I decided I could keep waiting for these people and like push this whole project, or I can just fucking start moving and like, delete them from this current draft and then add them later. There's other companies I want to add anyways down the line. So like I'm just gonna do that. So I just took them out of my draft and then I started moving forward with it. And I started thinking about, okay, I have to go get the folders and I have to think about how I want to package this whole thing. Dry ice, the whole deal from last week, remember? And I decided that I wanted to have a page front and back that talked about who I am as an agent, who Grace is as an agent. So you're not just getting this packet from me, but I can also sell myself on this like get to know me page. And then I wanted a cover page that talks about what the package is. So I started designing those in the previous week. I finished designing them early this week. And I started thinking about the name. I had it labeled Mason and Grace's recommended vendors, which sounded very sterile. I didn't like it. It didn't roll off the tongue. It didn't fit well. And so I rolled through like 40 different options with Grace. I tried like VIP package or like customer client package or like, whatever, like just a bunch of stuff that didn't really work for me. But I was rapid firing them to Grace, and then I just like I happened to remember a Hormozy quote or something that was like, no, it was you. I was editing something for a previous podcast, and one of your quotes was proof over promise
Oh yeah.
when we were talking about your marketing lady. Um, and so I was like, proof over promise package. And then I was like, ooh, I really like that because every time a real estate agent sits down to pitch themselves, they're really saying, hey, here's how much I think your house is worth, and here's how much I think I can get it sold for, and by when. Trust me, bro. Sign this paper and trust me with something important. And so the whole reason I'm building this package is because I don't want you to have to stick your neck out for me. I want to be the first one to do that, right? I want to lay myself down on the wire for you to climb over, not the other way around. And so really this whole package is putting proof over promise. I'm going to prove to you that I am valuable immediately, and then you can trust me. I'm not gonna like I don't have to make any promises because by now you trust me because I've given you this much value up front, right? And Grace didn't like the name. She thought it needed too much explanation. And she was like, do you remember Sanders going through everything where he's trying to simplify his ads because like people read at a third grade reading level? And then I realized, yeah, but Sander isn't there when he's pitching his ads. We are there when we're pitching this because I'm not giving this to anybody who I'm not speaking to, right? So I have the opportunity to explain it, but also I can throw a line in the cover page that explains it. And she said, okay. And she said, are you open to doing like a website split test with this where we print out like 2 different versions and give it to different people? And I thought about it and then I said, no, I want to try this. And if it gets a huge amount of pushback or people are confused or it's just not working the way that I feel like it's going to work, then I will open myself up to other name changes and we'll try it. But I'm very happy with this as it is right now. Oh, I forgot before even any of that, the companies that weren't emailing me back, I'm getting fed up with them. So I re-emailed my list of companies in those categories. Um, I finalized the design of the personality page and the cover page. I removed the pending companies. So now it's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and I realized, okay, I'm going to do a test print of these sheets. I'll probably like it. Then I can order more, and I'll have everything ready to go for the open house on Saturday. All I need is the folders and some ribbon. So I went to the office to get the folders. No one's there. They left early on Wednesday for Thanksgiving break. They weren't going to be back till Monday. Fuck, I can't get into the merch room without an employee there. So how do I get these folders? So I talked to Christian because he's up in Merritt Island most of the time. So I was like, hey, are you at the Merritt Island office right now? Is anyone around? And so he messaged the admin up there. She texted me and she was like, hey, I am not there right now. I also left early, but I have to stop off late tonight or early tomorrow to pick up a package. I'll leave the folders out for you in the main area where you can get to then. Awesome. On Thanksgiving, after doing Thanksgiving stuff with Grace's family, I drove out to the Merritt Island office and picked him up. So I've got 10 folders, which is great. I did ask, I was like, hey, I need a bunch of these. And she was like, how many? And I was like, 10. And she was like, I don't know if I have 10. I was like, just give me all you have. And she was like, okay. But what that tells me is, I mean, I have at least 10 clients to go give these to the second I have them done anyways. And then if I also want to have like at least 5 or 10 on hand at every open house I do, I'm probably going to need a big box of these. So I'm probably, once I hand out these first 10 or maybe before then, I'm going to text her and say, hey, can I order a box of like 100 and just pay you for that box after my next paycheck hits? So once that was all done and I had the folders, I was ready to start test printing. And that had its own issues because I don't know anything about printing. I've never done it before, like on a large scale or anything or full color. I don't know anything about paperweight, right? I now know about paperweight. But I had to talk to ChatGPT about changing the sizing of my Canva image to have bleed and then getting it to download in the right like PDF for printing with bleed images and whatever. And then I had to upload that. So I decided to try Office Depot because they are close and easy to work with. And that's where I bought the paper from to try printing it on my own. Um, so I had to then learn how to use the Office Depot website. It was a big pain in the ass. Here's what I wound up with. I picked these up on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and I printed the whole thing. Um, so I printed it's 5 pages total, front and back.
Oh, cool.
That is the personality page. So that's me on the front. It's Grace on the back. And then the next page is the cover page, which talks through what the package is. I've got it pulled up here. I'll read it out loud.
You want me to read something out loud?
No, I got it. It says, welcome, dear client. This package is years in the making, 45 businesses, an average of 4.9 stars on Google from over 11,000 reviews, all working together to make your home ownership as stress-free as possible. This gift will save you time, no need to research reputable companies, money, these discounts are seriously awesome, headaches, 4.9 stars on Google speaks for itself. Proof over promise means exactly that. Rather than promising you our services are worth your hard-earned money, we want to prove it to you up front. We receive no compensation or benefit from these partnerships. Any and all savings go directly to you. Looking forward to building a successful relationship, Mason and Grace.
Yeah.
And then on the back of the cover sheet, I wanted something there. And
Oh,
so
cool.
I worked with AI to make that image of the water, and then I put Blue Marlin on top. And then the rest of it is the package as finished.
Awesome.
So that came out. The cropping looks good. The color is good. It's like a touch darker than I thought it would be, but overall, I think I'm fine with it. My biggest gripe is that the pages are way too thin. It feels like you're flipping through a magazine page. I don't want that. I want it to be thicker, like a postcard.
Mm.
And that has been the reason that this isn't done yet.
No, I
Uh,
got it.
so I meant to print on um I meant to print on 100-pound gloss cover page. What I actually printed on was 110-pound gloss text page. The difference is I ordered the pages that go inside of a magazine. I wanted the cover of the magazine. So last night when or 2 days ago when I picked these up, I realized that that was my problem. So when I went in to order from Office Depot, I was like, I actually wonder if they have something even thicker than that. They do. They have cardstock, which is as thick as like a business card. And I was like, even better. This could be on like thick paper. That's exactly what I want. And so I went to order that. I put in my order last night. I was like, great, these are going to be done. I can order a bunch of them to pick up tomorrow and like I'll be done well in advance. I can start delivering them to clients. Life is good, right? Um, and so I put in the order, and then 10 minutes before close last night, I get a call from the Office Depot employee. They say, hey, this paper's too thick. We can't get it through our printer both ways, so we can't print double-sided. You have to cancel your order. And I was like, oh, okay, well, can you just cancel it from your end, or do I have to do it from mine? And she said, oh, well, it's better if you do it from your end. And I said, okay, no worries. So I go back to the Office Depot website. I can't cancel the order from my end. You have to call, and they have to do it there. I also figured out they can print on both sides of that paper. They just have to manually flip it. So this lazy bitch just didn't want to deal with me at all last night. And she waited until 10 minutes before close to call me. I had put my order in hours before. Um,
Yeah.
so then troubleshooting today, I looked into it and I thought, okay, there's two options here. ChatGPT says that Office Depot can print on 10-point cardstock front and back without having to manually reset it, and gloss cover without having to manually reset it at some businesses, right? Um, because some printers aren't capable of it, some employees aren't capable of flipping the pages over. I don't fucking know. And so I started looking into local print shops, which is as complicated because they advertise stuff to regular people. So it's like now I know the difference between a 10-point and a 16-point like gloss cardstock versus a 100 pound and an 80-pound gloss text sheet. Now I know the lingo. And now I'm going to a private printing shop which talks about like thick gloss page. And that's it. So now I don't have any like data to go on. And also sometimes you have to bring your own paper. And I don't want to pay twice. I don't want to pay for paper and printing. I just want to pick it all up in one place, right? So that's also looking confusing. So I decided to wait. And then this morning I called Office Depot. No one picked up. So then I called them again right before the podcast. And the lady who picked up was like, "Oh yeah, I can absolutely try doing the gloss cover, so the magazine cover. Um, I can try like manually like flipping it over and seeing if it works." And I was like, "Okay." She tried it; it worked, so I'm gonna go pick it up later. Um,
Great.
yeah. So if that works and I'm happy with it, then I'm done, and I'm just gonna order a bunch of them. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna try having them print it on cardstock. And if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna have to go to a private print shop. I don't know. I've got to figure it out. But in any case, to summarize, I'm happy with the coloring. I'm happy with how everything looks. I'm done with it. I just need to figure out how to get it printed.
Yeah.
And then once it's printed, I've decided the first people that are going to get it are all my current clients. There's probably like 15 or 20 right now. And then I'll keep like one or two on hand for an open house. We've been averaging like one or two people come through, right? The open house that we have already scheduled for this upcoming Saturday was completely dead the last time we did it. This is the one where I learned, oh, if you do it last minute, then no one comes because they all see it on Zillow.
Yeah.
And so the agent actually reached out to Grace and was like, "Hey, do you want to do another open house there?" And Grace was like, "No, it was dead last time." He was like, "I think it's because we did it last second. The other open houses people have been doing have been really busy." And so she was like, "Okay, we'll do it again." And I hope it's busy because there's no service there last time we went. So hopefully it's busy, which keeps me busy. I'd really like to have these done and ready to go. I realized 10 seconds ago I have exhausted the folder supply at the Merritt Island office, but I have not yet tapped out the Indian Atlantic or Titusville office. So if I can get this fucking printing figured out today or tomorrow, I could order a bunch of them and then I can go tap the other offices for all the folders are worth, deliver to all my clients this week and have some ready for the open house this upcoming weekend. So hopefully that all works out. Um, I have no interest in paper or printing or any of what I'm having to deal with. I was really hoping it would be as easy as just pressing the print button, but the main issue is that I have a really clear idea of what I want, and making that happen isn't as easy as I thought it would be. Um, I'm not I'm not completely convinced that it's done the way I want it. Like I'm visualizing holding the folder with the pages inside with a blue ribbon around it. And that's cool. I'm just not sure if it's exactly what I want. But I think I'm just gonna start with that, and I'm gonna start delivering to Justin doesn't fucking care, right? I'm still gonna give him one because he's my client, but he doesn't give a shit. So I'll start by giving it to Justin, my parents, Bob, my first client, my first sale. And then maybe if can think of a way to improve it later on, then that's what I'll do. Oh, I also don't have a version for people who don't want to be clients. I still want to have a version that has all the discount codes blurred out. Um, I haven't done that yet either because I've been prioritizing like the full version, getting people signed up. So if I'm able to get this done before the open house this weekend and people are interested but already have real estate agents, I might just tell them sorry, it's clients only. For the moment, I don't know yet. I haven't thought about any of this. I've
I
been
think
just
that's probably smart
to figure it out. Yeah. So yeah,
for now.
that's my business update.
Nice, very cool.
Thank you.
I realized something I didn't add. You were talking about learning paper stuff. Um, one of the things I thought of this week is like, well, if I'm gonna crank this, like, one of my limitations is CapCut is slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't work that great because I have 4 terabytes worth of data on it.
That's a lot of terabytes.
There's a lot of terabytes, a lot of data. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll learn Premiere. So I learned a new software this week to make editing faster. But yeah, I understand the pain. You know, it's like you look at it, you're like, fuck, like I don't wanna deal with this right now.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is like making the deals with these businesses and then like getting people's houses sold because that's the part of the real estate I'm actually interested in, right?
Yeah.
Um, there's there's this one house that I'm just captivated by. We did the open house a while ago, but it's on a canal in Satellite Beach, like
Yeah.
5 minutes from where you live. It's got a weird roof on it. They have come down like 100 grand. It was not poorly priced. It was listed at 824,900. That was a decent price for it, right? They bought it for 824 and then put a bunch of upgrades into it. So at 824,900, they're already losing money, right? And now it's down to 780. So it's down to 45 grand from that point. Um, and I don't know if there's issues that like people are finding in inspection. To my knowledge, it hasn't even gone under contract. I think it's just the roof that's scaring people. But I'm like, dude, put a $20,000 roof on there and call it a day. Like stop dropping. You're just bleeding money. But like those types of problems are the ones I'm actually interested in solving. Not should I use 12-point or 14-point cardstock gloss? You
Yeah.
know. So, anyways, that's my business update.
Very cool.
What lessons did you learn this week?
My big lesson was uh trusting yourself and having faith. You know, just having faith in the process, going through it, continuing to persevere, but trusting yourself and thinking through these problems concretely. And I think I have a distorted perspective on um like I don't know if it's distorted or not. I don't have enough perspective to suggest whether it's distorted or not. But my perspective between push and pivot from my lens seems to lean on the scale more towards push. And I think that's very good for perseverance. But I think leaning on push so much that you forget to try to when you forget to reassess, I think is a hindrance. And so it's like looking through the lens of uh perseverant but reflective.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a really big lesson that I learned this week. Um, and I thought of this now, but there's an old Russian saying um, that translates to "You tell God your plans, and He laughs in your face."
Yeah.
Like this was like 100% my week. It was like I'm gonna quit this job. I'm gonna scale this up. Gonna make a bunch of money in the fourth quarter. I got all these ad account backups. Site's running great. Ad's gonna be okay. I'll find this. I'll do this. It's like, oh fuck, dude, I was so wrong, man. So wrong. You know, and like, um, even if it works from this point, and I get something that hits, like it's still, it's definitely a 180
Right.
from where I saw this. But it's kind of interesting because then it's like I think about it's like like how many other turns are there in the road that I don't see or understand
Right.
that I'm gonna hit. So it's kind of fun to look at it that way. But
But
that was
it can always get worse, right? So like,
yeah, that's for sure.
it could get worse or it could get a lot better and then get bad, but in a different way, right? So like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't you're at rock bottom now, but you didn't really have that much to lose in the first place, right? But if you build a business up to like a multi-million dollar business and then, that you get fucked out of half of it, right? That's a huge detrimental loss because you lost half your business, you lost millions of dollars, but like you're still way ahead of where your starting point was here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I think that like it could always be worse, it could always be better, and the worst thing you've ever been through is the worst thing you've ever been through. And I think
Yeah.
that if this is that, then it's tough to beat. So even the twists and turns ahead of you is like,
And something that helped was like I definitely hit like a rock bottom esque place. I saw this meme on Instagram that made me laugh this week. It was the caption was when you find out rock bottom has a basement. And that made me laugh, and I was like, I'm fucking feeling that right now.
yeah,
Um, it was I definitely hit like a rock bottom esque place, this week.
right.
But like right now, like I'm feeling better.
Have you
Like,
ever?
I feel good about it. I feel good about the process. Like nothing's. I told my mom this. I was like, she was like, "What do you want to do with the business?" And I was like, I know it sounds dumb, and I know I have no proof to suggest that this is true. I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes this year. I've made a lot of learnings. I feel like I'm learning to like trust myself through this process a little bit again, and kind of go from there. And I feel as though I've accumulated a lot of pieces to a puzzle, and I haven't put the puzzle together. But finding all the pieces was half the battle, or maybe even more than half the battle. And I want to be given the opportunity to assemble my picture.
Hmm.
And that's kind of where I sit right now. And so that's why I'm kind of in this new lens of like, this like it's still hard, I still sit down and make ads, and I'm like, it's like the little voice in the back of your head of like, this could be good enough, or it's like the little voice in your back of your head, but it's like, that you should have changed that thing. I'm
Hmm.
like, fuck, and delete it, and then redo it, and then redown it, right? And so it's like that process is still challenging.
Right.
But there's more. Like I have more belief in the process, I guess you could say. It's not really like hope. It's not really like positive energy.
Yeah.
It's like belief in my ability to grow,
Right.
and that gives me momentum,
Yeah.
right?
I think that like I don't like thinking in like the huge big picture really because it kind of distracts from what I need to do today. So like the what do you want to do with the business thing is like like when you ask me what do I want to do with real estate, it's like, well, really what I want to do with real estate is I want to have a better understanding of the market that I prefer to invest in. And then I want to make enough money that I don't have to work a 9 to 5 so I can spend time on business. Because what I'd really like to do is to start a business from scratch. And I don't know what category, right? But like, dude, the kava bars right now, so many of them are doing so terribly because they aren't business people. But like, I would love to spend most of my time just going around fixing kava bars and making money off
Mm.
of doing that. Like if you and I had a business like Next Wave Kava where we go in and fix a bar and then we get residuals off of that and then we leave and then we just put in a manager in place that like handles shit and we make money passively off of that and then we just go to the next one. I mean, we could go across the whole state and do that with like dozens of bars and make a shitload of money. And like that's something not that I'm intending to do in any
No,
case,
no.
but it's just something that I'm
Mhm.
brainstorming. But like that is such an appealing woman in the red dress because it's a skill set that we already have. It like I mean the physical product we already basically have done. All it would really take is the time of going and selling it and doing it, right? But the issue is that takes just enough time that I can't do it while having a 9 to 5. And it would make just enough money that I wouldn't really pay for my salary right now, right? And so it's like the goal with real estate is to make enough money that I can afford to have the time to go and do something like that
Mm.
to make even more like going and helping businesses is I share the same excitement that Hormozy does when he does the Hormozy hotline and people call in and have problems. Because like they're in a position where they're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then, we're in the position of like, I have no stake in the game. I'm looking from a fresh perspective and here's everything that I see. And here's where I think we can improve. And then you go and do it and then you make it better. It's like optimizing,
Yeah.
right? That would be so much fun. But what I was gonna say before that, is have you heard Alex talk about when Layla had like cancer or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? And he was talking about how when you want to feel grateful for something, just like think about what life would be like if you lost it today, and then remember that you have it, and now you're
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah.
And so if you're in a place where you're like, man, I don't want to be looking at card stock options. It's like, well, I mean, your family could die
Yeah.
today, and that would be worse than looking at card stock options.
There are people who would kill to have the problems you have,
Yeah,
as something that's been really helpful
yeah.
for me.
Or worse, your family could die tonight, and you have to look at card stock options, and like that's the worst it could get, right? Grace and I joke all the time about uh Miami. We always say like,
Oh, yeah.
like if you wanna go through hell, go to Miami because that's where we had the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
fucking fiasco, right? And so we were talking about, I think it was Anna and Ralph. Um, they were doing something. They moved to New York City in the first like 6 months of their relationship and like quit their jobs to start a business or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but like the whole premise of the story was like it put a lot of stress on the relationship really soon, but they made it, and that's how you can tell that they're in a good relationship. And so Grace and I joked, and we were like, "Yeah, man, if you want to stress test a relationship, just go to Miami." But like that's like I very frequently find myself going like, "Oh man, I don't want to be doing whatever I'm doing right now," or "Oh man, this current situation sucks." But like, dude, it's been so much worse. Like you could always go back to Miami. It's
Yeah,
way
you could
worse down
always
there.
be in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just funny because I like Miami as a city, but in that
Yeah,
context,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, what do you have for, lessons?
Mine is semi-related to yours. When I was thinking about a lesson, I was like, I don't know, because like my week has just been kind of the same as always, where it's like, oh shit, it's taking longer than I want it to, but I'm doing the work anyways. Um, but most of the inspiration I've gotten this week has been from Formula One or the past
Mm,
few weeks,
yeah.
really, because this is like, even if Max doesn't win it, it's like the most sensational comeback ever. Even if he doesn't do it, there's no reason we should not even be talking about this. Like it shouldn't even be an option that Max can do this, right? So like in a way, he's already won. But if he actually wins, that'd be crazy. But in his interview where he was talking about how like McLaren have been fucking up left and right, that's been gifting him these positions, right? I saw an edit on Instagram Reels, and the caption was, "Give it your all, even when hope runs out, because this man proved that miracles arrive for those who don't quit." And I was like, "Oh, that's like such a cool way of saying like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard."
Yeah.
Like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard is the epitome of, like, 2021 to me, because Lewis walks on water and doesn't have to do simulator sessions and goes to Fashion Week in the middle of a triple header and shit like that, right? Like, he's very talented, but he's not working as hard as Max, who's also supremely talented. So it's like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, but if you have someone who's talented and working hard, it's fucking game over, right? And so this quote I like this quote in particular because it's recognizing like, hey, like sometimes you get lucky. Luck is a real thing that's out there. And like if you get put in a position where luck is in your favor, if you're not prepared to meet luck where it's at, then you're going to miss the opportunity. But so long as you continue to work hard and put yourself in that opportunity, then when the miracle arrives, when McLaren double DSQ in Las Vegas, you'll be close enough to take it to the last race. And so that was, I don't know if it's a lesson that I learned, but it's just something that I found cool this
No,
week.
yeah. No, I dig it.
Yeah. So that's what I had for that.
Very cool. You have a dial in?
I do.
Wanna dial this thing?
It is in regards to Thanksgiving.
Uh,
It's a Hermosi quote. Grace's family does this tradition. They call it the turkey box. And so while dinner is being prepared, everyone writes what they're thankful for on a piece of paper, and they fold it up and they put it in a box that's shaped like a turkey. Everybody eats dinner, and then between dinner and dessert, they pass the box around. You pull out a piece of paper, you read what someone's grateful for, and then you try to guess who wrote it. Right? Super cheesy. I was not prepared. And so like, they asked me to write something on a piece of paper. Everyone's writing like three or four different notes. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't know. And so I'm like, I'm thinking, I don't know like half the people at this table. So when I'm reading out notes, I'm gonna be guessing blind. But then also B, like these people don't know me. So if I write something like very obvious, they'll probably guess it. But also like, I don't know, what am I grateful enough for to write on a piece of paper here? Because like I'm kind of grateful for everything, but at the same time, like I don't know. I just was at a loss. I was like, I don't really know what to write down here. And so I just wrote Grace because I am grateful for her. But like all the things that I'm grateful for are kind of like as a byproduct of Grace. So like I can kind of sum up like a bunch of things under her. So I wrote that, and everyone would be able to guess that easily. So it's an easy thing. But I had this Hormozy quote stuck in my head through like all of the Thanksgiving period, and it's I deserve nothing and I'm grateful for everything. I like that.
I dig it.
That's all I got.
Very cool. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Vision 79 podcast. Hopefully you have a great week. It is December now, so hopefully you have a good holiday season or coming up to a holiday season, and we will see you next time.